This is the journey to One Africa. Hello everybody, this is Mika and welcome back to SNOA family. As you guys know that this weekend we're going to be having the African Union Summit 37 2024 and it's very exciting. A lot of people are excited about this summit. A lot of leaders right now, as I say, guests and different leaders have already started to go to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia for that summit. But the concern to Africans people is still the same. Because every single year we see these leaders are coming together, talking, discussing about, ways forward, how to unite the continent, how to silence the gun and different initiatives that they talk about. But the thing is, nothing has been accomplished yet. And we're still at the same place where we used to be in 63 years ago. But today I want to show you a little bit of the evidence why this is happening by watching this video. So I was just going around the internet and I have seen this one video. I don't know who took it, but I've seen this video on internet and I thought it was very necessary for me to come here. And rather than just sharing with you guys this video, I thought it's very important for me to come here and actually to react on it. And you guys, you can let me know in the comment section what are your thoughts. Let's go right away to watch this video.
Wonderful morning to you from here in Addis Ababa, where we are attending the 37th conference of the AU. And everything is so beautiful here. It's wonderful to be here. However, there are a few problems that we've encountered. So first of all, let's tell you one of the problems that we encountered. We're trying to get an Africa that is saying part of the AU theme is to make it easier to move around the African continent. But coming here was so difficult. Getting into the country was even more difficult. We spent 4 hours at the airport trying to clear our papers, paying what was called a visa fee of $150. I don't think that facilitates easy movement of Africans, especially for Africans that don't have money.
Oh my God. Okay. Let me just stop there first of all, man. Okay. I don't know what happened to Ethiopia, by the way, because there was a time when Africans were allowed to go to Ethiopia without paying any money. It was free. Free. If you want to go to Ethiopia, it was for free. You could go there without visa. Without visa. You just go there or you get visa on arrival. And there was a time that Africans, were just going there without visa was allowed. So I don't know what happened right now, but this is the capital city of African Union. And different guests from all over the continent are going for the summit. And they have to stay at the airport for 4 hours. 4 good hours. And this is Africa, guys. And these are Africans. This is African Summit, Africa Union. Even the name of the organization is African Union. You understand that? African Union. Basically, it's kind of like One Africa. So even the name of the organization is African Union. But these guys are going to the airport. They have to stay there for 4 good hours. Waiting for what? To pay for the visa and to get a stamp. And how much is the visa, guys? $150. Oh my God. That's why a lot of people, they just decide to go to Europe to travel. They decide to go to other country, to East Asian. You know why? Because it's too expensive to travel in the continent. $150? Okay. I don't know where this man is coming from, but it's obviously African. And you have to pay $150. $150. African to go to another African. Do we really want to visit one another? Do we really want to visit our countries? Do we really want to be united, to be one? And this is the capital city of African Union. $150. Even myself, man, I'll be like, forget about this. I gotta go somewhere else. And I don't know how did it go? Like it went high so fast. I remember I used to pay $50. Yeah, I paid $50. 150? That's a lot. How are we going to have a free mobility of our people from one country to another country if it is $150? And we still encourage, visa, any free visa. We still encourage to visit one another. How is that going to happen if it's that too expensive? All right.
Then the second issue is the issue of the country. We're a family of African states that are trying to come together as one so that we can begin to deal with our problems at conferences like this. But 6 African countries are not there. So we've got Guinea, Gabon, Niger, Mali, Sudan, and there is one more country, Burkina Faso, that are not here. These are part of the African nation, part of the body of the African nation that have actually began to fight the continuation of colonialism in French colonies to free themselves. We believe that those are fights for independence, but they've been suspended because of allegedly undertaking coups. But a lot of us Africans look at these people.
Okay, guys. So, all right. This is African Union Summit, and you have 6 different countries that have they're not there. They didn't attend. And the reason why they did not attend, not because they wanted, but because they are suspended by African Union not to go there. That is Niger, that is Mali, that is Burkina Faso, that is Sudan, that is, what another country? Gabon, and, what is another country? I forgot another country, but 6 countries, they're not there because they've been suspended. All right. This is African Union Summit. And yes, we have seen coup taking over Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, Gabon, and all these countries. But let me tell you this. The reason why Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso left ECOWAS, it is because they saw the organization is actually working against them and not with them. Because you can clearly see these guys are trying to bring difference in the country. So yes, you know, we believe in democracy. We don't even practice, by the way, democracy. But we say we believe in democracy. And it hasn't been helpful to us. But you have leaders who are actually running the country and things are moving forward and you are against them. So what do you want? Do you want war to happen in the country? Do you want instability to happen in the country? So Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, they left ECOWAS, and now ECOWAS are trying to bring them back. They're asking them to come back to ECOWAS. And African Union has suspended this country because every action, they say, has reaction, right? So if every action is going to have consequences, if you've done something wrong, then you're going to need to face consequences. Because if they're not going to basically like ban them from African Union, that means everybody will know that, you know, I can do whatever I want to do in my country. I can invent my country. I can invent a regime and everything will be fine. But this has to be a wake-up call, because the solution is not banning them from attending African Union Summit. Do you think even they want to come there? Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, they have formed, you know, alliances together with each other. Now they're like one country, 3 of them. And you're burning them not to come to African Union Summit because of the coup that happened. These guys, they walk away from ECOWAS. What do you think? What is it going to stop for them from walking away from African Union? They don't really care. They don't really care because they see the system is corrupted. They see these organizations are not working for our people. They're not working for their people, for their countries. That's why they're walking away. So burning them from joining is basically just helping them to walk away again. And the vision of African Union to unite, to bring all the countries together, is not going to be fulfilled. It can't work like that. You cannot just be strict on one side and not being strict on the other side. Man, these guys are actually working for their government. Look at what the president of Burkina Faso is doing to the country. Look at the development happening in that country. Look at his move and what he does. And today, you're trying to isolate. I'm telling you, man, the one to lose here are not these countries. But African Union is the one to lose, because you have been trying to bring all the countries together for so long time. But now you're stopping them. And I don't know what you really stand for. Because the problem is not having coup in Africa. The problem is why coup are happening. That's the thing we should ask ourselves. The problem not coup happening in Africa, but the issue is why this coup are happening. Why military are constantly taking over the government? Because we have politicians who are not working for their people. And these guys have been protecting these leaders for all the long time. And they see that nothing happened in the country. So they decide to what? To take over the country. Why does it happen? Because no leadership, really. So we should we should think about the root cause analysis and go back to the root of the problem. Figure out why these are happening. What is the problem? And try to fix those problems, those issues, even before dealing with the consequences. Now you gotta go to the source. You gotta go to the source. You know why Africa is poor? Africa is poor because we're constantly receiving loan and aids. These are consequences. Why don't we go and look at what is the source of money? And we have everything here in Africa, but majority of those resources and those beautiful places are owned by the white individuals. So all the source of money, they're owned by them, and we expect to have money. No, they own everything. We are the one actually that beg for them. They own everything, and we work for them in our own countries to earn money. But we are living as the source of the money, and that's what we should focus on the mining sector, all the resources. That's what we should focus on the oil, on the ports, you know, on the natural resources, natural gas, everything. We should focus on that instead of focusing on the consequences or on the outcome or on the end result of the resources. And that's why Africa is poor. Even leadership is poor.
People is freeing themselves from the continuation of colonialism pact with France. And so that's why we don't understand why they're not here, why they're not sitting with other African leaders to deal with African problems in the African family. But what is ironic is that French people sitting here, Italians, Americans, the British, our former colonizers sitting in our meetings, but we've got African leaders that have freed themselves from France-Afrique, not present here. These are some of the problems.
Come on, man. Come on. Look at this. Look at this now. Look at this, man. So these guys have been banned from attending. At the same time, I did not know, man. In African Union Summit, France is there. Europe is there. America are there. Why are they there? These are colonizers. These are people who colonized us. How are we inviting them in our private meeting, African Union meeting, to listen to us? And at the same time, you're burning these countries. Okay, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger. I love using this example because these guys have fought so hard. These three countries, they have been fighting against the, French colonies in their countries. They've been fighting with them, and they kicked them away. Guess what? They're not invited to the African Union, but the same people who colonized them, the same people that have been fighting with them, the same people that dismantle Africa, they're being invited. They're there. All right. Let me calm down, guys, and let's reason. Let's reason for a second, man. Let's reason for a second. No, I can't even reason. I'm really trying to understand, but I cannot understand. I can't understand, guys. I can't understand. Guys, this is what happened in our countries. When you go somewhere to buy food, you're not going to be trusted by your own African brothers and sisters because you're African. But if Muzungu come in the same restaurant, they're not even going to ask for money because they believe that he will eat, and then at the end of the day, they'll pay money. For you, they'll ask money on the spot. They're not going to open the door for you. They're not going to ask you what you want. They're not going to bring menu to you. You're going to need to call them. You're going to need to open door for yourself and call them and ask for menu. Oh, perhaps even go take the menu and coming. But for them, if Muzungu come, they'll open the door. They will give the menu. They'll ask them, what do you need? They will smile, and then they'll come back and forth to look at them, how they're doing. That's what they will do. This is happening in the low level, but also it's happening in African Union. You are rejecting your own people. You are throwing away your own people from attending the conference because of the coup that happened in their countries for their liberation. And at the same time, you are inviting colonizers in your meeting to discuss Africa issues, Africa matters. And security crises, such as those in Sudan, Ethiopia, or Sahel, are on the agenda of this weekend's continental gathering. Instead, leaders are set to focus on drier matters such as internal reforms and Agenda 2063. And this is the reason. These guys, the main issues in Africa that are going on right now, the war, the conflicts that are going on all over the continent, these guys, the leaders, African Union, are not going to discuss. They're going to discuss about internal affairs and African Agenda 2063. While at the same time, you have issues right now. We say Africa solutions to Africa's problem with African money. You have issues, you have problems, you have conflicts. You're not talking about them. You are not doing anything about them. You just let it. You let people kill one another. You let wars continue. You're not discussing anything about it. What do we expect? If we're not dealing with our own issues, who are we leaving them to deal with our issues? And now it makes sense. That's why you have colonizers in this meeting. Why? Because if you have them, do you think you're going to discuss about this? You're going to discuss about the issues that are happening in the western part of Africa, Sahel region? You're going to discuss about that? Because France is responsible with that. Are you going to discuss about that? So I'm calling upon African Union. We cannot ignore our problem. Whether we like it or not, we must deal with them. African solutions to Africa's problems with African money. It is time to stop these conflicts in our continent. If you can't show us the way, then who will? Be responsible. African Union, be responsible. In this gathering, we must talk about these conflicts. We must talk about how are we going to solve these conflicts? How are we going to rescue Africa? And not 2063. Today, we have issues happening today. We can't just sit and talk. This 2063, this agenda, guys, let me tell you this, nothing action there. It's just to sit and to talk. We've been talking about that every single year. They will sit and talk. That's it. Internal affairs, they will just sit and talk. That's it. But these conflicts, it needs action. Faith without action is dead. Words without action is nonsense. Insane is doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. I know you're very smart people. I know you're very mature. You're very educated people. You're not insane. But we cannot keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expect different results. Why are you ignoring? Why are you ignoring conflicts? You can't ignore. You can't solve problems by ignoring them. You need to face them. You need to go right after them. No matter how hard it is, no matter how difficult it is, whether you like them or not, you must face them. We must deal with our issues. We can't postpone it. African Union Summit is happening this weekend, and we're not discussing our issues. We're not discussing these conflicts. Okay, let's wait, see. I mean, you know, perhaps this is fake news, so we're going to wait and see. We're going to do evaluation of this African Union Summit this time, all right? Let me finish this video, man. Okay.
That we need to deal with. Another thing that we need to deal with is something called EPF, the European Peace Facility. Now, this is a new facility that came in after the African Peace Facility expired. With the African Peace Facility, the Europeans would give money to African countries so that African countries would be able to, you know, train their soldiers to fight terrorism and to continue to facilitate peace in Africa. Now, European countries will be able to take money directly to individual African countries so that they can train their armies and even give them weapons. They can also give non-governmental organizations and institutions funding to get our weapons to fight on the African continent. Now, my question is, how do we know that those funds will be used to fight terrorism only, or they will not be used by, say, France, America, or any other of those countries, given to their chosen countries to fight other African countries and to cause an arms race in Africa? These are the kind of issues we need to deal with at these kind of conferences. But as long as they're keeping out other African countries, as long as they're taking money from the European Union, as long as they're taking weapons from European countries that do not like certain countries because they're breaking colonialism, we'll always have a problem on this continent. And what is ironic is we're told that China is our enemy, Russia is our enemy, but we don't see the Chinese, Russians, we see the French, the English, and our former colonizers. That's the problem.
There's a lot of things he said there. We used to add IPF, I guess, Africa Peace Fund, but has expired, and now they have European one. So my has expired. Why did not renew it? African solutions to Africa problems with African money. But these are just talk. And if Europe needs to give us money for peace, if Europe has to give us weapon to fight for peace, so basically what do they tell you? They're telling you that kill one another. It's very easy, guys. They give you a weapon. They're telling you kill each other. They give private organization. They tell them kill one another. how sure are we going to be that, are we going to know that they're not going to use these organizations to actually create conflicts between one country and another country? We have witnessed that since colonization until today. A lot of conflicts that are happening in Africa, not because Africans just want to kill one another and want to fight one another. There's somebody else outside who is manipulating the system, manipulating the situation, and we end up fighting with one another, end up killing one another. How sure are we that this organization, EPF, is not going to use that against us and take advantage of the situation? African, until when are we going to keep receiving money from these guys? These guys that don't love us. Until when, man? Why we do not understand? And what is painful is that people are working, people we know. We don't want this to happen. But the politicians, this organization that we look up to, that we admire, they do the opposite. One of the person that we work together, we've been working together for a while, and I was sending, some work to be done. And this is what she told me. She said that, Mika, I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm not justifying it because I don't agree with her not doing it. But for the sake of this video, I want to say this, that the reason why she said that, she said, because no, I'm hopeless with Africa. These things are happening all the time, and we've been talking about this all the time. Nothing has changed. No. I believe the enemy wins when we give up. I don't think Africa is hopeless. I don't think Africa is hopeless because I am here. You are there watching this video. And we have a lot of single individuals are talking about Africa and want to see change in Africa. So I see hope. In the coming days, in the coming years, I see hope. The next generation not going to live the life we're living today because we are planting a seed. We are building a foundation. We are building upon the foundation that our forefathers did 60 years ago. We are building the house right now. So our next generation, they're going to survive. They're going to strive. They're going to thrive. But these kind of issues are setting us backward every single time. That's why we don't march forward. We keep going backward because of these kind of decisions. The reason why France, the reason why German, the reason why Americans are invited in this summit, man, it is because they give money to this organization. It's simple as that. You give them money, they're going to be there to monitor the situation. So you're not really in charge. You're in control. Somebody else is in charge. And he said something very interesting, this guy. He said, we don't see Chinese as our enemies. We don't see Russia as our enemies. Only we see American as our enemy. And we see France as our enemy. But let me tell you this, man. This is the reason why I'm not up for BRICS. I'm not supporting BRICS. I think they have good agenda. I see their policies are good, are amazing. But my very first priority is for Africa's unity. It's for one Africa before anything else. I am here to promote African unity. Once we have that, we can join BRICS as a single continent together to fight with Chinese, with Russia, with Brazil, with, India. But before us coming together, we cannot achieve anything. And we must be vigilant. We must keep our eyes open and know that we got ourselves. We are here on our own. And when I say this, man, some people are taking it negative. I saw somebody commenting and say, man, don't be very negative. You say that nobody loves us, nobody. When I say this, I'm not saying this because I want to be loved. I'm saying this for the sake of those who do not understand, because I see that in our people all the time. They feel like they're loved. They feel like they're special. They feel like they're being cared for. We're going to clap our hands and thank for the loans and aid that are coming to Africa. No, man, they don't love you. And that's the reality. That's not me being negative. Me is reminding you that we need to decolonize our mind and think that we are loved. No, we are on our own. And if we cannot realize that and wake up and stand with one another, if African Union cannot realize that and bring actually the entire continent together, then we're not going to move in the right direction. Guys, I don't want to take so much of your time. Please let me know in the comment section, man. What do you think about this? Let me know your ideas. I know I've spoken a lot of passion in here. But guys, show me your passion in the comment section. But anyways, all in all, man, we'll be following along to see what is happening and also to see if it's the same old thing all the time. Yeah, until next time, guys. God bless you and God bless Africa.